Today, we're going to be beginning our 2-week project on group therapy ethics and dynamics using Christie Tate's memoir, Group. Before we dive into the group work, I want to introduce some of the key concepts and themes from the book that will guide our discussions. This presentation will highlight major ethical dilemmas, the role of the therapist, and how group dynamics evolve over time. Please think critically about how these themes apply to real-world counseling practice. So, this book is a deeply personal memoir that follows the real life experiences of Christie Tate as she enters an unconventional group therapy experience led by Dr. Rosen. The book provides a raw and unfiltered look at therapy, touching on issues of confidentiality, ethical boundaries, and the sometimes painful but transformative power of group support. As future therapists and counselors, it's important to analyze how the therapeutic methods in the book align or conflict with professional standards in group counseling. Dr. Rosen's approach to group therapy is highly unconventional and challenges many of the ethical guidelines we follow. He implements radical transparency, where members are expected to share everything, even outside the group. This goes against the traditional expectation of confidentiality. He also directly challenges his clients, often in ways that could be considered confrontational. While some of his techniques lead to breakthroughs, they also raise ethical concerns that we will need to critically examine. One of the biggest ethical concerns in group is confidentiality. In traditional group therapy, confidentiality is a cornerstone. What happens in group stays in group. But Dr. Rosen's group, in Dr. Ro- but in Dr. Rosen's group, really groups, members are encouraged to discuss each other's personal lives outside of sessions. This raises serious ethical questions about privacy and consent. Another issue is the power dynamic. Dr. Rosen has a strong influence over his clients, sometimes pressuring them into actions they might not be ready for. Think prescriptions. We need to think about where the line is between helpful and therapeutic challenge and ethical violation. As future therapists, it's important to recognize the natural stages of group development. Christy enters group therapy feeling unsure and resistant. This is the forming stage. As she and the other members begin sharing, conflicts arise, leading to the storming stage. Over time, they build trust, reaching the norming stage where they start working together. Christy has major personal growth in the performing stage, where she embraces the group's support. Finally, even after the group changes, its influence continues. This is the adjourning stage. As we analyze her journey, think about how a counselor facilitates this process effectively. I also want you to think about the distinction between the two groups that she was a part of. In group, Dr. Rosen frequently shares experiences, which is a controversial approach. While some level of self disclosure can build trust and make therapy feel more authentic, too much can shift the focus away from the client's needs. Professional guidelines suggest that self disclosure be intentional and beneficial to the client, not a way for the therapist to seek validation. In your group project, which I'll explain in a moment, consider when self disclosure is appropriate and when it might be unprofessional. Despite ethical concerns, group illustrates the immense power of group therapy. Christie finds healing through connection, accountability, and shared experiences. In your future work, I want you to think about how to balance effective therapeutic techniques with ethical responsibility. While Dr. Rosen's approach worked for some, it may not be appropriate in many settings, probably in most settings. Your job in the upcoming group project that I'm about to describe is to analyze these elements critically and decide where the ethical boundaries should be in group counseling. Okay, so now that we've reviewed some of the major themes from the book, and there's so much more in this book to unpack, but you'll be working in groups to analyze ethical dilemmas and group dynamics from the book. So each team is going to be assigned a specific theme, and you will select as a group a key scene and quote that illustrates that theme. So next week, you'll also lead a 10-minute training seminar where you'll discuss the ethical and therapeutic implications of your theme and engage the class in an interactive activity. As you work, think critically about what group teaches us about counseling ethics and practice.